Tucked away in the North Carolina mountains is a road leading to a mysterious tunnel.
Hello!
It's big, about 15 feet tall and 2 lanes wide. But here, you won't find any cars passing through, or even any lights guiding the path. Because inside this tunnel, pavement suddenly turns to dirt, and the road abruptly disappears, leaving a quarter-mile stretch of total darkness.
I wouldn't want to be here by myself, close to night, but...
It feels like it's almost like being in a movie. Zombies.
The eeriness of this place, along with its fraught backstory, have sparked a special name for the site, the Road to Nowhere.
This is where the road to nowhere ends.
I'm Anissa Khalifa. This is The Broadside, where we tell stories from our home at the crossroads of the South. This week, producer Charlie Shelton-Ormond takes the road to nowhere and learns why the tunnel's dead end is only the beginning of the story.
There's a lot of mixed feelings about the road to nowhere. Bottom line is, it is a broken promise.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
All right.
You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Are we recording?
We're recording.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, Charlie, tell me about this mysterious road in the mountains of North Carolina.
So a few months ago, I heard about this strange tunnel. Now, leading up to it is a paved road, but on the other side of this tunnel, the road just stops. And the name of this place is what really got my attention, the Road to Nowhere. And with a name like that, there's got to be a story there.
Yeah, sounds like a Twilight Zone episode.
Absolutely. So I went to go check it out. Is this the Road to Nowhere up here?
Yes.
Yeah? All right.
So where is this Road to Nowhere actually located?
Yeah, it's in the far western corner of North Carolina, right outside the town of Bryson City, close to the Tennessee border, in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Check. Now, thankfully, the sun was out the morning that I was there, because the two ends of the tunnel is really the only light that you have inside of this thing.
How long is it from end to end?
It's about a quarter mile long, and a lot of that is pitch black. All right, I'm about halfway through the tunnel. It is very dark. Can't really see where I'm walking, but I see a light at the other end.
Ooh, it's a little eerie, kind of spooky.
Yeah.
So once you got to the light at the end of the tunnel, when the road ended, what's on the other side?
It turns into a trail, actually, that goes up into the Smokies. And so folks will come to check out the Road to Nowhere as this, strange tourist spot. But people also use it to get to things like hiking trails and campsites.
It's super cool how the light gets shut off and there's all this graffiti. And
Talk with some folks checking it out that day.
This is my first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been out here a few times, but that's...
Always wanted to come out here and make some noise in this tunnel.
That's Melissa and Dallum. They were doing some hiking and some fly fishing that day, But first, as they pass through, we put the acoustics in the tunnel to the test.
Can I go first?
Yes.
Wow, that's a great echo.
Yeah, they did a great job. So, being inside this tunnel and talking to the folks, the vibe is, it's kind of creepy, but it's also fun,
Yeah.
right, to do stuff like that. But why is it here, in the middle of the Smokies?
Did you see the sign as we were just coming in? It says, "Welcome to the road to nowhere, promises broken."
Oh, what's that about?
So as you're driving up to the tunnel, there's this sign that's off to the side of the road. Here we go. Here's a sign that says, "Welcome to the road to nowhere. A broken promise, 1943 to question mark."
Okay, so that's like very ominous.
Yeah. So naturally, I wanted to know more about what this broken promise has to do with the road to nowhere. So I left the tunnel and I went into Bryson City to talk with Lance Holland. Well, Lance and his dog.
Morning.
Mr. Holland.
Yes.
Sorry to let
Come
your
here,
dog
Maybelline.
out. Hey, Maybelline. Lance has lived in Bryson City for decades. Today, he runs a tourist shop downtown. But before that, he was a location scout and site manager for movies that shot around the Smokies.
Ooh.
He worked on films back in the day like Last of the Mohicans and
I didn't kill my wife.
The Fugitive.
I don't care.
What I say a lot of times is, I know how to fly cars and blow up helicopters, but train wrecking's the best.
But, at his core, Lance is a local historian. And over the years, he's actually published a couple books on the area's history. So Lance was the perfect person to ask about the origin story for the Road to Nowhere.
The saga of the Road to Nowhere, it kept kind of snowballing.
And that snowball starts with 3 letters, TVA.
The Tennessee Valley Authority.
Oh.
Anissa, let's go back to the 1930s. Back then, the TVA was this big new federal agency. And its mission?
Flood control and making electricity.
So it wanted to build a dam in this part of western North Carolina, a project that was actually already in the works. An aluminum company named Alcoa had already begun planning to make a dam here. But the TVA said, hey, no, don't worry about it. We'll take that project off your hands, and then we'll give you some cheap electricity once it's built.
Alcoa said, look, we're in the aluminum business. We'll give you all the land and stuff in exchange for cheap electricity.
There was some back and forth between the two groups. The project stalled for a bit.
But then, December 7, 1941 came along.
Out of a clear sky came the treacherous Japanese attack on Hawaii. The homes of Waikiki are burning fiercely from the bombs dropped by those planes.
Without warning, they circled Pearl Harbor and the city of Honolulu. A surprise attack.
Within weeks, TVA and Alcoa cut a deal.
Now, with World War II underway, the TVA kicked into high gear to build this dam, and several others, actually, in the Appalachian Mountains. And the goal was to supply power for the war effort.
Oh, yeah. Aluminum to make airplanes out of.
And there's evidence it provided energy for a top-secret site in nearby Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
There is certainly some evidence that the Manhattan Project was a part of it, and the creation of the atomic bomb.
Holy sorry, that's not public radio. Sorry, it just came out. That's great. Wait, what were they doing in Tennessee, of all places?
So this Tennessee site was actually enriching uranium for the atomic bomb, and they needed a bunch of power to do that.
Ah, okay.
But there was a problem with the TVA's plan. The dam was going to create a big lake in this region. And the area where this lake was set to go, this was the home of more than 1,000 families.
Oh.
People, who lived in these small mountain communities for generations.
Yeah.
And we had no electricity up there. And of course, no telephones out in the country. It was a very interesting life for me. I enjoyed it.
This is Delia Woodard Watkins. She grew up in the area and was a teenager when the dam was proposed. This is from an interview in 2009.
The thing that I remember about it, that we were told that it was to help the war effort to build the dam.
So the TVA sent in appraisers to start buying up the land.
And there was no negotiation on the price. You either took what they appraised your land for, or they condemned it and took it away from you.
But a lot of landowners sold their property and relocated really without much hesitation because, Lance says,
people were patriotic back then. They were doing their patriotic duty, and 84% of them sold their land willingly.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say no when they're like telling you it's for the war effort.
Right. But relocating for the war effort was one thing. The bigger sticking point for families, especially the ones with deep roots here, was something that couldn't be moved.
And then they have the cemetery situation, too.
The big kicker was the cemeteries.
Oh, yeah.
So there were dozens of family cemeteries spread out across this region. And the Dam and Lake Project was going to cut off these communities' access to this, sacred ancestral space.
It was very hard for some people.
So the TVA proposed a deal. If locals relocate their families, then the government would build a new road so they could retain access to the cemeteries.
Nobody objected because they were going to build the road, and then the people could go back, to their cemeteries or their old home places.
With this agreement in place, the TVA's project rolled on, and ultimately the dam was built in the early 40s in record time, and it actually became the tallest dam east of the Mississippi.
Oh.
And by the fall of 1944, the TVA closed the dam's gates, and pretty soon, water started to rise on what would become Fontana Lake.
So I'm thinking back to the broken promise sign, and I kind of have a bad feeling about that road that they said they would build. Tell me what happened with that.
So all the land the TVA bought in this area soon became a part of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And about 20 years after the dam was built in the 1960s, the Park Service started on this new proposed road. It was planned to be 34 miles long in total.
Okay.
But they got about 7 miles into its construction and came across a problem.
They started going through Anakeesta Rock.
Anakeesta Rock? What is that?
It's this really pretty, kind of multicolored, shimmering rock. But the issue is when you expose it to air and rainwater.
It produces an acid runoff that got in the creek, kills some fish. And so the environmental movement pretty much got the road stopped.
So in the early 70s, the Park Service halted construction.
And that's what created the Road to Nowhere controversy.
But even though the road's completion was in limbo, that wasn't going to stop folks from returning to their family cemeteries. So in the late 70s, a pair of sisters started a group for the people who'd been displaced by the lake. And their plan was to venture across Fontana Lake
and clean up the cemeteries and decorate them with plastic flowers.
Now, this is known as a Decoration Day. It's a kind of annual remembrance with a deep history in southern Appalachia. They happen across the whole region. So in the early 80s, the Park Service agreed to start transporting descendants out to the cemeteries across Fontana Lake. And that's when Lance actually got involved by ferrying people across the lake as a boat captain. He says back then, the Park Service figured all this would probably be a temporary thing.
One of the things that was always in the back of people's minds was, look, all these old people that want to go over there and stuff, they're going to die, and then we won't have to mess with this anymore. But they didn't get that right. They're passing it along. They're keeping that alive.
So Anissa, let's take a short break, and then let's go on a journey inside the Smoky Mountains.
Let's do it.
If the story stops getting told, it's over.
if you sold somebody a loaded gun who you knew was in a vulnerable state and they shot themselves, I think it is murder. Just because you're using the internet doesn't mean you get away with murder.
I'm Damon Fairless, host of Hunting Warhead. This season, I take you inside the business of suicide and the places desperate people go when they can't find what they need in the real world. Hunting the Suicide Salesman. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
One of the most consequential and least understood moments in American history is Reconstruction.
This is a radical restructuring of American democracy.
That's a big deal. We're weaving together a living, breathing account with historians, journalists, and novelists, not year by year, but story by story.
This process of perfecting the Union is not this static project.
Reconstruction, the unfinished promise. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Brian Reed. When I created S-Town, I looked at how secrets, lies, and the stories we tell shape a small, rural town. Now, on my podcast, Question Everything, I'm going bigger. Hi, this message is for Senator Lindsey Graham. I head to Washington to take on a law that gives tech companies sweeping immunity.
Is how these companies have gotten rich.
Senator Durbin's office.
Join me as I go after big tech on Question Everything from Placement Theory and KCRW, out Thursdays, wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, Charlie, you told me before the break that we're going to go on a little adventure in the mountains next.
Yes.
I understand that you recently went to a decoration day.
That's right. So in late June, I went out to Western North Carolina for a decoration day. The destination was what's called the North Shore region of Fontana Lake. But the journey to get there started early in the morning in a cove on the other side of the lake. Good morning. Good morning. That's where I met up with Henry Chambers.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm Charlie.
Henry Chambers.
Henry, nice to meet you. Yeah, we spoke over the phone. Henry helps organize decoration days for the North Shore Cemetery Association. He also has family connections in the area. He's 70 years old and has been coming here since he was a kid.
We come over in the late 60s. In those days, I was more interested in fishing than walking with the old guys.
But these days, Henry is like an encyclopedia on these cemeteries and the small mountain towns that once populated the valley well before Fontana Lake.
So how many cemeteries are there?
Yeah, in total, Henry says there's 36 cemeteries in the North Shore. And his group goes to 28 of them for decoration days throughout the spring and summertime.
Wow.
Now, sometimes they'll group a couple sites together in one trip. But the most important thing, Henry says, is that every cemetery they can safely get to has its moment.
One shot a year.
Now, I was curious going into the day, exactly how many people were going to be there. I mean, the group's been doing this for a long time, 50 years.
Yeah.
So how many have kept up with it? When I got to the cove, there was just one person, Henry, waiting for a boat to go across the lake. He said there were folks already on the other side.
That's both the boats.
Oh, great. But when our ride came to pick us up, it was just me and Henry and our boat captain, Carl, going across the water.
You all by yourself?
I'm all by myself. Yes, sir. Should I just hop on board? So we took a boat ride across Fontana Lake and then met up with a group of park rangers on the North Shore. They helped get folks from the lake on up to the cemeteries. So the next step was to jump in the back of a UTV with Henry.
All right, Charlie, let's
hop in and venture into the mountains.
The railroad's under us right there. Gotcha.
And along the way, Henry pointed out things about the old towns that used to be here. Small houses and shops tucked away in the woods before the dam and lake were made.
Was an ice cream shop and a theater.
Oh, a theater.
There was a store.
And after about 6 miles traversing through this, winding, muddy mountain terrain.
6 miles.
6 miles, very slowly.
Yeah.
So we turn one final corner, and then we see our group of descendants. All right, we've made it. And man, I was really wrong about this crowd. I thought it'd maybe be like a small group, probably on the older side.
How many people were there?
There were 80 to 100 people out there.
Wow.
And all ages. People in their 90s to, 9-year-olds running around. Also a team of cooks out there, prepping a big meal for everybody.
French fries, fish, and hush puppies.
Now, the actual cemetery was about a quarter-mile hike further up the mountain. So as people took turns going up there, everybody else was hanging out around a big tent set up by park rangers. And thank goodness that tent was there, because as soon as I showed up, in came the rain. And this was a downpour.
Oh, my goodness.
It put the festivities on pause for a little bit, but it actually gave me a chance to talk with some folks. People like Mr. James Calhoun.
Well, decoration was always special to me ever since I was a child.
Mr. Calhoun is 91 years old and has been coming out to this area for decoration days his whole life.
Family would take us to the cemetery, and we would decorate the graves, and old habits die hard, I guess.
We come back home to decorate our family's graves.
It's a little wet today.
Oh, yeah. You just embrace it. Just rain or shine, just embrace it. It is what it is.
This is Chris Chandler.
My grandmother was born here on Hazel Creek. So I'm 53 years old, and we've been doing it for 53 years old and before that. So
It's interesting that he referred to it as home. Like, we come home to visit the graves, even though the community doesn't live here anymore and hasn't for a very long time.
Right.
So, were you able to go to a cemetery?
Yeah, thankfully, the rain eventually let up enough for me to hike up there with one of the park rangers, Katie Liming. Katie, where are we going? Would you mind describing the scene?
Valley Cemetery. But we'll see, there's about 81 grave sites up here. A lot of people already came up, placed flowers, flags.
Kept hiking, and eventually we made it to the cemetery.
This is Bone Valley Cemetery.
Oh, wow. This is really beautiful. There's some fresh flowers on the graves here. Oh, a little out of breath. So these flowers stay here for a year?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm just going to look around a little bit. As Katie said, there's about 80 graves here, and that's out of 1,100 across all the North Shore cemeteries. Really well preserved here. Some of these stones are ancient. And all the headstones are from the 1940s or earlier, before the lake came in. Now, descendants can still do a full casket burial. It's extremely rare, though, because it is a pretty involved process.
Okay.
But Henry Chambers said people still want to be a part of the North Shore after they pass.
We don't know how many people scattered ashes.
If they only come once a year, like, who's taking care of everything to
Yeah.
make sure it looks good?
Yeah, that's the park ranger's duty. And the one that I went to was in great condition. So it's clear that the park rangers really put a lot of work into keeping it up.
Okay.
And, it was really wet and muddy walking around, but I didn't mind it that much because, the descendants come out here as a group once a year. And the rain almost felt like a kind of reset for these graves, getting the cemetery ready for this new year.
Yeah.
Why don't we sing Shall We Gather at the River?
Back at the base camp, a small group got ready to lead people in some gospel singing as a way to close out the day's ceremony.
With its crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God.
Listening to this singing, I was thinking about, how much it took for all these people to get here. It's not like the cemetery was a couple miles off the highway, right? Everyone had to go down this back mountain road, number one, and take a boat across the lake, ride for miles through a narrow, muddy trail, and then some hiked the last leg up to the headstones. It's a commitment to get to this place, which shows just how important it is for the people who chose to be there.
Yeah.
By the throne of God.
So how likely is it, do you think, that the road to nowhere will ever be completed?
The general feeling is conversations on the road are done. They're over.
Oh, it's done. That will never be finished. That ship sailed long ago.
Just to close out that chapter, back in 2000, Congress actually allocated money to have the road finished, but construction never started back up. And in 2010, the federal government agreed to pay the county $52 million in a settlement for never completing the project.
Bottom line is, it is a broken promise. That's just the truth.
And originally in the 70s, the North Shore Cemetery Association set out to hold the Park Service accountable to finish the road. But now, the descendants have adopted a new responsibility. And I think Chris Chandler put it well.
As long as we can physically come and make them bring us up here every year, we're going to do so.
I try to tell the people I deal with, you can't live in the past.
For Henry Chambers, that responsibility means having more people come out for decoration days and putting the road to nowhere in the rear view.
We have no control over what's happened in the past. We do have control over the future.
Looking to the future by preserving the past. And for a lot of descendants, that means introducing younger folks to this special place.
Just the ability to be able to continue on with my daughter.
Before people started on their return journey, I talked with a descendant named Jessica Gunter. She's also been coming to these reunions since she was a kid, and now Jessica's excited to bring her own daughter along.
She told me today, she's like, this is something I want to remember in my memories. It's just cool. Yeah. And so we want to continue that with our kids so that they're able to come back and bring their kids someday.
So having gone on this trip and having come back, what are you left with? What kind of takeaway do you have?
The ripple effects of the road to nowhere are still being felt by the North Shore community generations later. But it's clear that the community is continuing to thrive and still holds a very strong connection, to this ancestral space. And it was actually interesting that a good number of folks that I talked with mentioned how much they enjoy that experience of taking the journey to get to the cemeteries. And I think taking that journey together as, this cohort in the absence of a road has helped strengthen this group of descendants. So, say 50 years ago, the North Shore community was maybe more defined by the lack of a road. And I think the people who go out there today have shaped it into something different that's more appropriate for today's generation. And it's exciting to me to think about how it might continue to change going forward.
Love it. This was fascinating. Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah, thanks for chatting, Anissa, as always.
This episode of The Broadside was produced by Charlie Shelton-Ormond. It was edited by Jared Walker. Wilson Sayre is our executive producer. Special thanks to the Hunter Library Special Collections at Western Carolina University for supplying archival audio used in this episode. The Broadside is a production of WUNC News in North Carolina and is part of the NPR network. If you have feedback or a story idea, you can email us at broadside@wunc.org. If you enjoyed the show, leave us a rating, a review, or share it with a friend. I'm Anissa Khalifa. Thanks for listening, y'all. We'll be back next week.
Welcome to Pluto Phone. If you know the name of the movie you'd like to see, just stream it for free on Pluto TV, where all your blockbuster favorites are landing all summer long. Catch Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
Fantastic.
The Matrix Trilogy.
Welcome to the real world.
Mean Girls.
Shut up.
Titanic.
I'm the king of the world!
And so much more. For showtimes, press nothing. They're free 24/7.
That is so fat.
On Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
Have you ever heard that story that Napoleon used the Egyptian Sphinx for target practice and shot its nose off? Or maybe you've heard that a French astrologer named Nostradamus correctly predicted nearly 500 years of human history. Or maybe someone told you that the legendary blues guitarist Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil at a crossroads in Mississippi. These stories are what I like to call historical myths. Great little tales that may or may not have any basis in historical fact. On Our Fake History, we explore these historical myths and try to determine what's fact, what's fiction, and what is such a good story it simply must be told. If you dig stories about death-obsessed emperors, lost civilizations, desperate sieges, voodoo black magic, and famous historical figures you thought you knew, then Our Fake History might just be your new favorite podcast. If you dig it, then subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.